Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a 1999 launch that heralded Patek Philippe's return in earnest to the post-Soviet Russian market. This is the Patek Philippe 5091/1AJ-010, known, along with all models of the 5091 reference, as the Sculpture or the Russian watch unofficially. This is one of the most Baroque designs ever to issue from the House of Stern. Now, back in 1999, this was made for one of Patek's newly minted Russian retailers, and the idea was to recall the decadence of the Romanov-era court. So the Sculpture is fluid, fantastic, extravagant, and decadent indeed. It is a watch that was made in 9 flights of 300. So there are 2,700 examples in all of creation, a rare watch. Each flight of 300 featured a distinctive dial and metal combination. So they're all mechanically and dimensionally identical, but each of the 9 different versions looks quite distinct. Now, the model that you have right here, of course, the 5091/1AJ-010, is 37 millimeters in diameter, 10.1 millimeters thick, and 45.7 millimeters from lug to lug. So like a lot of watches of the 90s, it's fairly short across the wrist, which means it wears really well. Now, the bracelet, as you can see, is integrated and specific to this design. The watch is a combination of steel and yellow gold, meaning full bracelet, stainless steel, and uncommon. This is the kind of Patek Philippe watch that, with the benefit of hindsight and years, often becomes a collector's piece. On my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see it fits quite easily. It's nowhere near the edge of my wrist. The bracelet will pull straight down. It adds no flare or rigidity to the watch across the wrist, and you can see that with a nice ramped case flank, any sleeve can slide up over this watch. I'd recommend it for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters in circumference. The watch is substantial and handsome and substantially hand finish. You can see that the bracelet itself has that unique junction with the lug profile, and it's tapered to match the shrinking profile of the lugs, but it's also a wonderful piece when viewed in profile because the lug itself has a little bit of the curvature that's inherent in the individual links. So the design continuity here is strong. There is an almost biomorphic quality to this bracelet. This watch almost seems like a Patek Philippe designed by H.R. Giger, and you can see that the contrast between the alignment of the links, the color of the links, the size and the shape of the links adds quite a bit of fluidity and articulation here, as this is a bracelet that doesn't just have a number of distinctive visual elements in contrast, but also it has 2 planes, upper and lower, and you can see that from the side. You'll also appreciate that it has big gaps between links, so it is very silky, fluid, and flexible on the wrist while venting the wrist well on a hot day. Patek used to make bracelets the right way, which means they used to fix their removable links with screws, not pins and sleeves like today. And this watch is old school. It features the screw-fixed removable links. There is a friction-fit double deployant stainless steel clasp here, and you can see it's quite a simple affair, sufficient for a dress watch, which ultimately this timepiece is. You can see that the profile of the case includes a number of remarkable elements. Sculpture is indeed the word that comes to mind, as this is an incredibly sinuous and complex form. There are recesses, there are dips and tucks, flares, relieved and raised elements, shrunken and diminished elements, contrast between satin and polish, gold and steel. And you can see that the wing profile on each side, there's a crown guard structure and then a sympathetic structure on the opposite side, echoes the Nautilus just a little bit. The bezel is domed, and note the way the bezel continues seamlessly into the junction with the bracelet. The bezel is actually a fairly complex structure. Rolling around to the crown, it has a beautiful blue enameled dome style structure. So a little bit of a Fabergé egg for your wrist. That's what's being referenced here. And you can see the pivot is external to the crown structure and it in yellow gold. The watch has what can only be described as a sort of brick road inspired by the origin of the brick road in The Wizard of Oz, perhaps. I can't say for sure, but I can say that it is a gloriously nuanced dial featuring a sort of colonnade seconds and minutes track outboard, a number of different guilloche elements, including a radial splay underneath the hour track, and then you have that interesting, almost brick-like masonry-inspired center. Now, we are looking at yellow gold individual Roman numerals as well as hands to resist oxidation over time. And you can see that this one, late Patek Philippe tritium dial, as it is T-signed at the base, and this was just about the end of tritium in Patek Philippe watches. So the timepiece is discontinued in that regard as well. It does not feature hacking seconds, but it does feature a quick set date. And the timepiece is powered by Patek Philippe's manufacturer automatic caliber 315, 29 joules, automatic winding, 45-hour power reserve, quick set, 5-position adjustment, which is the high horology and chronometer standard, signed with the Geneva hallmark. It features a Gyromax-style free-sprung balance, and as it is the 315, not the 324, it beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, all of this 30 meters water-resistant. Own a living legend and a future collectible, one of the rarest 1990s Patek timepieces, and a milestone watch for Patek Philippe globally. Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.